Good afternoon, Zahid. I'm Zabir. I'm the guest editor at Elbite, and we welcome the opportunity to have you as our very first interviewee.
Thank you, Zabir, for having me.
Most
It's a
welcome.
pleasure, and I am looking forward to having a wonderful time with you.
Thank you for taking the time out, sir. My first question is tell us a little bit about your professional background and the city and country that you are based in.
All right, so I am based in Dhaka, Bangladesh, and I have been in business since I was around 17, as my father was in the business of garments. And as he was diagnosed with cancer, I was got into the business and I started working with him and I started learning from him. So we used to have a sweater factory back then. We used to export mainly for Europe. And after he expired in around 2004, I started running the sweater factory without him, of course, but with his guidance, which I have received before. And by 2010, I actually decided to get rid of the factory. I was not looking forward to manufacturing. So once the liabilities were over, I thought, okay, the manufacturing thing right now can get done and this can get over. So I started operating as a buying house. So right now, my main business is to gather orders from customers around the world, mainly from South America and Europe. And I place it in different factories in Bangladesh, and we make sure that the quality is being taken care by my team. I have a team of quality controllers. So we are basically the middle people between the buyer and the seller for garments.
Understood. That's an exhaustive insight. Given the current prevailing global situation where we have the pandemic and its ensuing economic downturn that it has spelled for many countries, in a personal capacity, has the lockdown implied more of positive outcomes for you or not so much? What do you think?
I think lockdown has not really got any positive things for any of us, and apart from the part that we have been able to spend a lot of time with the family. But in the business perspective, it has been a very tough time because since March, especially in Bangladesh, since March, we have not been able to operate. And as you know, in garments, we are getting orders where we have our shipment dates and we must ship on time. So that was not happening for at least 3 to 4 months. So we have had stocks, we have had situations where the raw materials were in, but we were not able to operate the factories. So overall, I would say that we have suffered negatively more in pandemic. But I don't know what the impact will be in the next 3 or 4 months, although a lot of our customers are saying that the demand will go high as everything was closed for some times and now we are coming back to life. So maybe the demand will go high. But yet I feel it will take a bit more time than what is being assumed right now.
What steps do you think can be assumed to offset the effects? I mean, what the
If I talk about
workarounds can
me
be?
personally,
Mhm.
yeah, so personally, what I am doing right now is I'm going very aggressive on the marketing. So we are in continuous touch with our customers and we are talking about new orders and we are trying to develop. But what is happening right now is customers are not really developing new styles for the time being. What they are doing is maybe give a repeat order for something they have done before, which had a good demand in their market. So they're giving repeat orders, but new developments, I would say, is very slow right now because even the customers are thinking how much they should be importing. If say our customers was importing around 10 million worth of goods, 10 million US worth of goods, right now they are maybe thinking about 2 to 3 million because they also want to play safe. You cannot be importing things which you might not be able to sell.
Mhm.
So the forecast is there right now, but we have to be careful. So for me, it's playing safe right now. Of course, we have to take the orders, but I think we should be taking a bit less orders than what we might have taken because you never know if the second wave or the third wave of corona comes, chances are that we will get stuck. So we have to be aggressive on marketing. At the same time, it's very important that we play a bit safe as well, at least till December, and see the situation and go ahead as needed.
Hmm. Now, with a lot of anti-China rhetoric that is going out there, it is likely that manufacturing will largely shift to the CLMV countries and not India as we like to think. The CLMV being Cambodia, Laos, Myanmar, Vietnam, and Bangladesh also has a huge potential in this respect. So, given these economic forecasts and also the fact that Bangladesh is among the few countries that is likely to put out positive growth for this year, is there sort of some degree of optimism among the business community in Bangladesh?
Of course, that is there. Of course, the forecast is saying that we will be getting more orders. There will be more companies maybe shifting to Bangladesh and investing in production and manufacturing. But at the same time, we also have to remember that in certain things, India is stronger than us. In certain things, China is stronger than us. If I say about fancy products, if I say about garments which are not like basic garments, China is doing wonderful. If I talk about t-shirts, then in India, Tirupur is a place where we say that they are the best in t-shirts. It's very tough to beat them in price and sometimes also in quality. So I think all the countries have their strength and weaknesses. So every other country will try to take advantage of the weakness of other country. But at the same time, the country which is playing stronger on their strength, I think will be surviving and doing better things. I personally feel that garments is not a sector which will get divided into 2 or 3 countries. It will always be between few countries which are already producing for the world. So I personally don't think that orders or manufacturing will only be done in places like Cambodia or Vietnam, because as far as the capacity is concerned of production, now we have a great capacity in India, Bangladesh. The capacity is very high. The quality has improved drastically in the last, I would say, 10 to 15 years. We are not only shipping out goods just because we are cheap. We are not cheap anymore. Bangladesh or India is actually not cheap in labor anymore. We are in the market and we are surviving because of our quality and because of the backward linkage industries which have already grown in countries like Bangladesh and India. So the optimism is there, but then again, Corona is in such a situation that we are not able to understand when it will go. Like just about 1 hour back, I was talking to one of my friends and business partners who's mainly doing work in Hong Kong. And he was saying, Zahid, Corona will go away in about a month. I said, how do you know? He's like, I'm expecting. So we can expect a lot of things, but chances are that we have to do things accordingly. Whenever the situation is there, we have to just act accordingly. Right now, I am playing safe. I think the business community in certain cases are playing safe. But for manufacturers who has taken maybe a lot of loans from the bank, for them it's actually not easy because the installments are coming every month. So sometimes they're going way too aggressive and maybe taking more orders, but I just hope it doesn't get them into a tough situation. As long as they're able to ship and the goods are being shipped and the payment is coming, this should go well. But in Corona, what has happened is we have got a lot of ready goods which were cancelled initially, and now those goods are going with discounts. So at the end of the day, you have made some loss because of the finances you have taken. The interest is going high, and as you know, in Bangladesh, the interest rate of lendings is very high. It's more than 10%. So they have made a loss there, and then again, if they're making another 5 to 10% loss as a discount, it's actually not easy. So this year will be about surviving, and next year maybe we can expect that we can cover a bit of the loss of the pandemic, but I don't think 2021 will be able to cover the total loss. It will take 2 to 3 years. That's what I personally feel.
So on the point you make, and which is very true, that Bangladesh and India are not necessarily cost advantageous as they used to be, or they were at one point in time. Now, on the other hand, there are also big advancements being made in automation and robotics. Now, say for instance, a robotic or a fully automated garment manufacturing plant comes up in the US with a better cost advantage than even Bangladesh or India. Do you see a possible reverse migration of manufacturing to developed economies?
Frankly, till now, I have not seen a factory where it's absolutely automated. It has not actually happened. Like if I talk about my particular sector, the sweater sector, we used to have hand kneading machines before. So one machine used to get operated by one person. Right now, people are bringing the Jacquard machines, which are like the automatic machines. Yet, for every 2 or 3 machines, we need one person to be operating them. So that is there. So until and unless there are situations where it becomes fully automatic, I don't see it happening. But if something like that happens in America, of course, we will be facing something. But then again, I don't see it happening in the next 10 years, in a sense that the industry cannot grow drastically in the next 10 years in an automatic situation. So for us, we still have 10 years to think where we will divert and how we will take things forward. I personally don't think that Bangladesh or India will ever be in a situation in the next 10 to 15 years where we won't be getting orders. So I am quite optimistic in this part.
Moving away from the professional part, what is the first thing you would envision doing once normalcy as we knew it returns?
I'll go for a vacation to get over this vacation. This is what is going to happen, because we have been forced into vacation, to be frank. And the vacation was basically staying at home. Like from March, end of March till July, my office was closed. I told my people, you stay home and we'll be sending you the money through mobile banking. And that's what we have been doing. But since July, we are back to office. But then again, we are back to office because this is the need of the moment. We have to earn money to survive. We cannot be taking a vacation right now because Corona is still not over. But I know for a fact the day Bangladesh government says, okay, Corona is over in Bangladesh, I'll be taking a vacation in Bangladesh first, because I know for a fact the hospitality industry has been hit hard. And especially for people like us who loves to eat, who loves to go around, we can understand the pain, because there are places we used to go very regularly who are hit really hard, and the losses are enormous. It is actually out of the, I mean, it's something which we cannot be imagining even. Some restaurants are closing down. Some are giving weird offers, like you buy one buffet and you get another 3 buffets free. So try to understand this situation. I mean, they're not able to sell. That's why they're giving weird offers. So I personally feel that whenever the situation is back to normal, people like us who loves to eat, as I said, or loves to travel, we should be supporting our local restaurants and resorts and hotels. That's what I feel. And then again, of course, the business travel will start, because without traveling, it's very tough to control or communicate with the customers, because we are doing a lot of things over email, over video conferencing. But then again, when you're meeting person to person and spending time, things become easier. So I really hope the travel in both sides, personal and professional, starts and resumes soon. But I'm not going to travel until and unless they tell me that I don't need to take a corona test, because that thing getting inside my nose will be very tough.
Well, that brings us to the end of our interview today. I thank you again so much for your time, and I'm most grateful for you taking the time out to patiently answer our questions. Thank you, sir.